Before anything else is said, I live north of Atlanta, and I don't know, maybe there's a Braves game today, but my normal drive has been expanded to about 2 hours and 10 minutes. So as long as that guy continues to go this slow, I should be all right. Small business ownership in the age of the internet is so strange. I don't often know what to do with comments, and the majority of them, as I'm sure you could probably guess, are negative. Whatever that anecdote is, bad news can go around the world 10 times before good news gets up and put its pants on. That was before the internet. So now the majority of the comments that I get on Banff Hammer posts, advertisements, are negative. And I got one, and I don't know exactly what to do with them. I've thought about, I've tried a handful of different tactics. So this is a new tactic where I just kind of verbally process, film it, and we'll post it and see what anybody thinks. Had a guy on a post last night make a comment. The comment was, or you could be a real man and something like build them yourself. I guess he was talking about the hammer, and there's some irony there because I did build it myself. And I happened to mention that. And then in the response, I asked, what about the ad threatened him so much? Because life stuff going on. I'm reading a lot on cognitive behavioral therapy and clinical psychology at the moment. It's the side study du jour, and the thing that I don't think we talk enough about how the internet is influencing the way that we speak to one another, or anything like that. Because what would motivate this guy to need to express his displeasure? And he came back and he said nothing about, and of course he was not quite this, there was some callousness in the response, but he said nothing threatened him. He just thinks it's ridiculous, all the things that we do now to, I guess, make up for the lack of physical health in our culture, and then kind of rebuked me and was like, look, if you're going to put yourself out on the internet, you need to accept that people are going to express their displeasure at your existence. Some irony there, maybe we'll pin it. And then he said, there was nothing personal in it, and he hopes I sold 1 million of them. And now there's a lot to unpack there if you're paying attention. The idea that it's not personal, that he could cast the aspersion that if a person does not live as he thinks that they should, they are not real men. That's its own little bucket of stuff. I like the idea that he has the right, because it's the internet, to express his displeasure, but I guess I don't have the right, as the person who owns the property, to ask for clarification or point out that it's his own insecurity that causes him to clickety-clack with the brave thumbs. Actually, it's probably not this, it's probably this. And of course I went to his page, and there's hunting stuff, and very pro Second Amendment. George Washington talking about stacking bodies, and that unravels a different layer where you go, you seem to be very pro, and I'm going out on a limb, but pro the United States, at least in terms of its concept, which would imply a pro-capitalist standpoint. And it just got me wondering, like, what is it about the internet that makes us feel like this is okay. And it's kind of what motivates hitting record. Because we could be better than this. And we have been in the past. I'll give you an example. If in your town there was a store that you had no use for, you know, pick a store. You might walk past it on the way to your favorite shop or whatever and think nothing of it. You just never go in. And yet the internet has managed to get us into this habit of essentially standing in front of that storefront and shouting at strangers that the store shouldn't exist. Hear ye, this store is stupid. If you shop at Hot Topic, if you shop at Hot Topic, you're pointless. Nobody does that, with a couple of notable exceptions, which are a whole different bucket of worms. But the internet makes us do that. But you don't have to. If working in the fitness industry, the biggest issue that I am seeking to help address is the growing number of people in the United States who live lives that are incredibly sedentary and as a result have increased health risks or whatever. I just like the idea of people getting out and being more active, and I genuinely don't care how you do it. I'd like it if it were safe. But then again, I train for Ninja Warrior. That can result in, and has resulted in, 2 fairly devastating injuries to my own person. So even that's not, you know, you get to measure the risk. Everybody gets to measure the risk of both an incredibly dangerous and active lifestyle or one of inactivity. But within the world of fitness, we tend to argue about who makes the best athletes, when really that's the least important conversation we could be having. Although the perception of creating the most, like the best athlete sells the most products, being a savvy consumer is a topic for another time. But yeah, so I guess this verbal processing goes to this point. In order for less negativity to exist in social media spaces, you have to stop, and by you I mean me as well, sermon to myself, perpetuating the negativity when it's handed to you. That's not your monkey. So there's the challenge. Try it. See what happens to your mindset if, rather than expressing all of your negative opinions and keeping your positive ones to yourself, you just flip the switch. Comment support for no reason and expect nothing back. Maybe take notes about it so you could read them after a period of a month or so and go, you know, I really do feel better about myself if I just encourage people for no reason. Happy hammering!